And welcome into the Wednesday edition. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you, broadcasting live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Oh, boy, do we got a lot of things to talk about today here on the program. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com will be with us later in the program. We'll get his thoughts. He was up late last night texting myself, texting Joe Rexrode about things that have nothing to do with the Tennessee Titans, but he was texting anyway.
Yeah, taunting me about the Tigers. It's fine. We'll have that kind of a day if he wants that kind of a day. I've just texted him. Hope it wakes his ass up.
How are we feeling this morning, Joe? What's going on?
That's fine. I mean, I'm done with sports, but I still have to talk and write about sports as a job. But you know what? People do jobs all over the world that they don't love. And I mean, I'm not saying I don't love this job, but I just hate sports. So it's fine. I think I can talk about sports as I hate them. I can write about sports as I hate them. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I just want you to know there's 5 games left. There's still some time to dig our way out of this. We're all Detroit Tigers fans.
Yeah. I mean, I'll.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I'll siphon gasoline through, your tailpipe if they win another freaking baseball game. Okay.
Well, Ian, clip that one up. There we go. Ian, how we doing? What's going on?
Oh, doing good, thanks. Went to bed a little early last night, so I missed the Tigers. Woke up to your texts.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Didn't wake me up at all. It
wasn't too late, right?
So, no, it wasn't too late, but I was kind of half asleep. So, but yeah, doing good.
I cried myself to sleep right after that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, well, sometimes that helps. But yeah, busy day in Titanland, I suppose, huh?
Yeah.
Joe, we thought Joe was actually wrong for.
I guess we need to start.
And so he is not actually.
I guess we need to start there. Our apologies to Joe Rexrode, specifically my apologies to Joe Rexrode, who said yesterday we heard Brian Callahan's comments on Monday about, hey, you given any thought to maybe not calling plays anymore? And I thought his answer was just kind of brushing the question off, which the more I think about it, Joe, maybe at the time it was, and maybe he was told something else a little bit later. But you're right. You said that you were wrong for the first time ever on the show yesterday, and it turns out you weren't. So congratulations, the return to your perfect record.
Yeah, well, I'd take a victory lap, but at the end of the show yesterday, I basically admitted that, I probably am misreading that. But that's an interesting point you bring up, though, that maybe, because if you're right about what you just said, then I still wouldn't be right, because I thought it was a peculiar way that he answered it, and I still feel, and then I did listen again yesterday, and I still feel like that he had to have known that it was at least possible at that point.
Maybe so.
You know what I mean? But maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that was a brush off, and then he found out later in the day that it was happening. I guess the first thing that on this, what percentage chance do we think that he made this decision?
0.
I'm at 0.0.
Yeah, 0%.
0.
I would love to know, does anyone actually think that? Like, is there anybody out there that heard Brian Callahan's, impromptu press conference yesterday where he talked about, this is a decision that I've come to, that I feel like this is, this is in the best interest of our football team. Does anybody believe that? Or does everybody believe what I think most of us believe, and that is that he was directed to make this decision? Our D May's talking about it yesterday, and I think he's exactly right. Like, this is a, hey, you make this decision or we're going to make another decision for you type of move.
Yeah. Maybe it could be like plainly say it like that, or just sort of like, well, either without even the threat, just like, this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. And then you get into, so is this Berserker? Is this from the brain trust of Berserker, or does it go one step higher?
Yeah.
Thank you. Cannot play that enough. I'm guessing. I mean, I'll be very, we'll have Kuharsky in later. Very interested to hear his thoughts and maybe his reporting on this. But I'm guessing that Amy's letting them do their job, and it's them. But I don't know.
I mean, the first person I thought of when all this happened and we figured out Callahan's not calling any plays anymore, is Brinker. So I don't know. Can't prove it. I'm interested to get PK's thoughts on it later, but Brinker is kind of the name that came to mind to me. And Joe, it feels to me like this is basically the last ditch Hail Mary to try to save his job. Like I truly believe this. I believe that Amy Adams Strunk and the Titans brass don't want to fire Brian Callahan because they know about the optics and everything we've talked about with this. They don't want to do it. They know that firing a first-year head coach with your first-year quarterback is not good for the development of the quarterback. So I don't think they want to. I also don't think that they can ignore what we've seen through a 20-game sample size and specifically what we've seen through the first 3 games of this year. And if Brian Callahan's gaffes continue in any sort of form from here in any sort of regularity, they know they have to get rid of him at some point. So this feels to me, Joe, like a last-ditch effort to say, you know what? We're going to take the play calling away from you. We're going to see if that enhances your ability to focus on the operation and look like you've got a little bit more of a clue of what you're doing out there. Now, a couple of things that on that front, Joe, that really stand out to me that I've got a problem with. You know, one of the things Callahan said yesterday was that now this allows him to spend more time with the rest of the football team, which is exactly what he said at the end of season press conference last year that he learned that he needed to be better at, right? Like that's exactly what he said. He said, you know, I spent too much time with the offense this year. I'm the play caller, and I got to do a better job of getting around to every other area of the team. And that's what he said at the end of last season's press conference.
Yep.
So why didn't that happen? If it did not happen, because that's what you said. It's what you said you're going to do. So I guess apparently that didn't happen, and now I guess we're going to believe that it happens now. And number 2 is this, and it's exactly what we've been talking about for months, and I guess or months, weeks, and I guess we owe an apology to people because when people have called into the show and talked about the idea of Brian Callahan giving up play calling, my response has always been, well, if he does that, then they just need to fire him because what's he doing here, if that's the question.
But I still think you're correct with that assessment. I mean, this is just
it's the precursor to him being fired.
It's a step along the way, you know, because, again, it's like, so the play calling head coach, I think one of the good examples of what you should do is let's take Sean McVay. And it really is kind of being like the head coach of the offense. I mean, you are the head coach CEO, but Sean McVay said, you know what, Wade Phillips, you are the defensive head coach. I am the offensive head coach, right? It hasn't always worked out that way. But again, one of the big mistakes I think with this whole thing was first-year coordinator across the board.
Yes.
You know, so while, yes, you're technically the head coach, the whole reason, again, for this model that people have embraced all over the league is because you don't want to get caught with a great play caller getting stolen away from you by another team because they can hire away your coordinators. You know, they can't hire away your head coach who's a great play caller, and then, boom, you have that locked in. So all of which is to say, yeah, like this is – I just think it was just a bunch of words yesterday, and he's been forced to do this, so he has to put a lipstick on the pig and look in the mirror and all this stuff. I mean, no one buys that. And also, when he was asked later about his play calling, to me, it was funny for one thing, but also we'll get into it. But also, to me, that's a total confirmation of him not believing that this was the right move.
Yeah. I mean. Brian, anything wrong with your play card? Nope, nothing.
It's actually awesome. Thanks for noticing.
Excellent. I think it's actually been excellent, my play calling. Oh, good. Glad you guys are making the decision to demote it then. It's a high bar to live up to. You're excellent play calling out there. Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. Let's head to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Chad to the program. Chad, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, morning, guys. Good stuff. My question is, what do you all think about, this has happened so much over time in the NFL where you've got such a separation. If you're a coach, And you just feel, Callahan, when he goes to work in the morning, when he comes home, he tells me, he's like, my hands are tied. There's nothing I can do. I don't really have control of the roster. Now I don't have control of what we're going to do on offense. And it just gets to the point, it feels like, where he's just to the point where the team starts to feel that, right? Where he's just like, the coach is just like, this is the Titanic right here. All I can do is rearrange the furniture. And do you think that becomes a vibe? Because I see that happen all over the NFL, all over time, where the coach just gets to the point where, like, what can I do? There's no shot here. I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you, Chad. Appreciate it. To his point, Joe, he feels like a guy that's been fired and no one's told him yet. That's what it feels like to me. Like, it feels like they've basically fired him. This is the step before they actually do it. And unless by some miracle things change, and by the way, I've got some thoughts on that if they do, as to what does that mean? Like, who do you give credit to at that point? Because it probably ain't going to be Brian Callahan. So, like, I just don't think that he's in a winnable situation right now.
Yeah, it's like, right. It's like, obviously, if they started winning, playing really well, and if Cam Ward kept taking steps and got better and better and better, and Cam Ward continued to campaign for Brian Callahan, like, could this save him? I mean, I can't say like 0%. I mean, I don't think those things are going to, especially the winning part, I don't think that's going to happen. But like you said, then it's like, okay, so if this change is some huge thing, then like, where does he factor in?
I mean, if let's say in fantasy land here that they turn things around and they look great offensively and they start to roll off some wins here, I'll ask you, what do you think the fan base's reaction going to be? Is it going to be like, oh, look, Brian Callahan? Or is it going to be, hey, why don't you guys fire Brian Callahan and go make Bo Hardigree the head coach? I know which one it's going to be.
That would by the way, that would finally make up for not drafting Hendon Hooker for,
It would.
Bo Hardigree, backup Tennessee quarterback.
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. There's the fan base reaction, yes, but there's also there are people who work for the Titans who know who's doing what.
Yeah.
I like how Callahan broke down all the different.
We know everybody's role now.
And I gotta say, I haven't seen a screen from them. It's worked. Damn. Like Callahan pointed.
By the way,
Jordan, it's his fault that our screens suck. Thank you.
This is exactly who is in charge of the screens out there.
There's a lot. They're making news. Let's give them credit. They are making news. They're making all kind of news yesterday.
A lot of news.
It's really bizarre.
We will get into Brian Callahan's demotion, which is what it was, all throughout the show. Take your thoughts on that, 615-737-1025. The Titans also made a trade yesterday. We'll get into that at some point throughout the show as well. There's a lot to get to on the Titans front. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. DVD with Willie Donick, Derek Mason, and Adam Vinyan will be broadcasting live from 3 to 6 p.m. at Jimmy Kelly's Steakhouse this Friday as they celebrate the opening of their all-new rooftop dining area and bar. Also a great place to go before or after the Vanderbilt games as well. So make sure you check out Jimmy Kelly's Steakhouse. Taking your thoughts on the Titans, 615-737-1025. So Brian Callahan no longer calling plays. Bo Hardigree, who was the quarterback coach, is now calling plays, which means, Joe, that Nick Holtz, who is the offensive coordinator, just immediately passed over in this conversation.
Hey, guys. Remember me?
when the impromptu announcement came out yesterday that he was having a press conference, this, I think, was immediately most people's reaction. Like, I knew that Brian Callahan wasn't putting together some press conference to get up there and announce that he was getting fired. Like, by the way, guys, I just got canned. So I
looked in the mirror and I canned myself.
So I figured this is probably what it was, that the play calling wasn't going to happen anymore for him. So I guess I figured, the next natural step would be, go to your offensive coordinator and Nick Holtz. But they did not do that. And Brian Callahan was asked about that yesterday. Here's what he had to say on Nick Holtz and how he took the news that he wasn't going to be the play caller.
How did Nick take it when you decided to jump over him and go to Bo?
He took it well. He's a professional. He understands that's the way that these things go sometimes, but his role isn't changing in terms of what he's doing and how he's doing it. His role in the process, his role on game day, all those things are exactly the same as they were before. And again, the play calling thing sometimes gets a little bit overblown, if you will, because everyone's got a role and we all got a process. Bo's still in charge of the third down game plan, and Tyke and Mike McCoy do the red zone, and Nick does all base downs, and Randy does the screens. And so all those things are all going to stay the same. It doesn't change that process any bit whatsoever. It's just, the plays are at the end of the day on Sunday coming out of somebody else's mouth. I'll be still very present in the process. I'm involved in it, but it is going to allow me to do more around the team and around in both other phases besides offense and special teams and defense. So it's not really, to me, at the end of the day, it's pretty normal in this league for things like this. This isn't some seismic shift or crazy change. It's just trying to help me do my job a little better and let some other people take on a little bit more.
So that was Brian Callahan saying that Nick Holtz took the news very well, Joe.
This is how things go when other people make decisions for us, and I didn't make the decision at all, by the way. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Oops.
Yeah. Denard Wilson and Bones Fossil, they're like, hey, Brian, we're good. We don't need more input from you, actually.
Yeah.
So keep with the offensive guys, please. It's just I think it's so silly. I mean, to me, it's like, let the guy do the job
or fire him
that you hired him to do. And this is central to the job that you hired him to do, or he just isn't. Yeah, it's just move on.
Yeah.
But you're not moving on. I guess two questions. The bigger question is, does this actually help them? Like, does this, I mean, Bo Hardigree has a track record as an interim play caller, and it actually went well
with the Raiders. Yep.
A lot of things got better with the Raiders that year. Sometimes that's just like, thank goodness Josh McDaniels is the hell out of the building. Yeah. I don't care who's calling the plays.
There's a quarterback switch in there too. Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, yeah. So it got better. And then, of course, like, how much of this was like a placating the fans kind of thing? I don't think from that perspective it works at all. But some people, then again, I say that, Robby, but there have been people. Yeah. I mean, I've heard Big Joe on he's got to give up play calling. And I was like, that's just dumb. And I've heard a lot of people have texted us and called us with that too. So I guess maybe it does placate some people.
Maybe it does. But again, like, I guess my follow-up to all that is, like, where do you go from here? So okay, let's play this out. It's really bad. If it's really bad, we know what's going to happen. They're all going to get fired. Okay. So that's the easy part. But let's say Bo Hardigree comes in and does a good job. It would be great. Like, I'd love to see him come in and do a good job, because good Lord, I'm tired of talking about bad football around here. So I hope he comes in and does well. But let's say he does. So number one, I mean, going back to the conversation we had last segment, how are you feeling about that? Who's getting the credit? Like, are you giving the credit to Brian Callahan when you forced him to stop calling plays, and then the guy who came in and replaced him did a much better job? I kind of doubt it if you're Brinker and Borgonzi and all those guys. And then here's the other part, and this relates back to Nick Holtz. Let's say Hardegree does a great job, and you guys want to keep this operation together next year. Like, he does that well, where you're like, you know what? Maybe we found something here, and Brian Callahan can be like the overseer, and Bo Hardegree's the play caller. Well, guess what? I mean, Bo Hardegree's probably your offensive coordinator at that point, and Nick Holtz is gone. Is he not? Like, is it going to be like, here's the quarterback coach? We'll keep you at the quarterback coach, because if you're Hardegree, who's already gotten interviews from other teams, by the way, he's probably like, no, I'll take that elevation. I'll take the elevation to offensive coordinator.
You're like, yeah, actually, I'm going to take the OC money.
Yeah, I will take the OC
much.
money. Thank you. If you're going to make me the OC by proxy here, I'll take the job. That'd be great.
Maybe Callahan won't be fired. Maybe he could be like offensive quality control. So they can reshuffle things. I've got Ed saying that Brian Callahan is Milton from The Office, and I've got someone else saying that it's Nick Holtz is Milton from The Office.
Okay.
We have multiple candidates.
Office Space.
Oh yeah,
Office
I'm
Space.
sorry.
You said The Office, but yeah, same.
Yeah. My bad. Yeah, which all the.
I know everything about it now. Yeah,
I did get a piece of the cake. Move down to the basement. I don't know which one would be. I guess either one of them could be. But yeah, like, I mean, the Holtz part of this is like, my goodness.
Well, I mean, Callahan hasn't proven to be like some awesome play caller. He's not terrible.
Are you sure?
Callahan?
I ask him. We got to listen to that at some point.
That's true.
We're going to.
I mean, he's not terrible, but it's not like he's some game changer in play calling.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of a drop off there really could be as far as that goes.
Look,
I don't know how much of an elevation there can be either.
I don't either,
because
but
of the
I totally
players.
agree with you. Like, I don't think it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
I don't. Like, I don't think it's going to get worse. Now,
well, you got to hope this stuff takes away the gaffes of losing games at the halftime and all the situations they've run into, right? Taking the play calling off his plate is so he can focus on getting the basic stuff down.
The funny thing when you say that is that because of the halftime gaff, which is the whole, focal point, by the way, they got 2 touchdowns the second half last
did,
game.
I know.
It's like the best they've ever done. It's like, okay, they finally figured out the second half. I don't care. You're out.
yeah, and again, I've got my own thoughts about, good Lord, if you need to take away the play calling to see if he can focus better, then the answer is you probably just don't have the right guy. Like, that's what I keep coming back to in this whole thing. But, we'll see. It's not like the coaching setup is all that strange from the standpoint of forever in the NFL, we've seen a head coach with an offensive coordinator who calls plays and a defensive coordinator who calls plays on the defense.
Right.
And the head coach has been, the overseer. So it's not strange from that standpoint. It's just like you brought the guy in. Part of the reason you brought him in as head coach is because you were that confident in his offensive mind and his ability, you think, to play call. And here we are.
Yeah. And again, it's like, I mean, it's funny. Like, his response on the play calling is funny. We'll talk about it. But like, I really don't, in all seriousness, I don't think that this is them saying his play calling sucks. I just think this is them, again, I guess it's that, or it's just something to placate people.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think that this is their commentary on his play calling. I think this is their commentary on his game operation, which has obviously been a huge story in the NFL and is not what you want.
I would agree with that as well to a point, but I also think, I think everybody's been waiting for Callahan to to have that game where it's like, wow, look at it. Like, you can, like, if you watch around the league, whether it's McVay, Kyle Shanahan, like the top guys that everybody looks at and is why all these guys are getting hired, because of what these top guys have done. Like, it doesn't take long for you to watch it and you look at it and you say, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty well schemed, well called offensive game plan. And I think people around here have been waiting on that from Brian Callahan to walk away from a game and being like, oh yeah, I mean, he just dialed everything up perfectly. And we're 20 games in, and I don't think that's just going to appear out of thin air at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, and then I know this is the default, and it goes around and around. But it's like, how many? If you sat in the film room after a game, how many times could you say, "Yep, see right here, it's there." Oh, but the right tackle let our quarterback get hit.
Well, I understand
0.8
that,
seconds.
but
right?
let's go back to last year again. The Green Bay Packers had Malik Willis come in at quarterback and absolutely kicked your butt.
Yeah.
Like,
But that's still a good football team.
I understand that, but it was Malik Willis at quarterback came in, and he looked like Michael Vick out there. Why do we think that happened? It was because of coach. Sure. And that's what you're looking for in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that this has distinguished it for sure. It doesn't really matter at some point when you have the mistakes he's made, like that just over. I mean, I think there's probably some of these coaches who look good, like McVay. I'm with you, or Shanahan, like those guys. There's no question, like they could figure stuff out that would elevate it. I also think there's a lot of coaches that could come here and suck.
I agree. I'm just saying,
and lose.
I'm just saying,
lose a lot.
Like it's a 20 games. There's so much around it. It's a 20 game sample size where he's won 3 of them. So that's bad enough by itself. But it's also a 20 game sample size where he just has looked like a average at best guy calling plays. And to think that that's just all of a sudden going to change, I don't think you're living in reality. And I think they know that. I think they know that by this point. 615-737-1025, our phone number. A lot more coming on this. We will get to your calls. We will get to your text coming up next. We will also get to some comments from Brian Callahan about what he thought of his play calling coming up next as well. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Let's head to our 102.5 The Game phone line. Welcome in Jared in Spring Hill to the program. Jared, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Oh, anytime, guys. Anytime. Thank you, though. But I got a couple things here that I was trying to get into DVD yesterday, but got a little tied up. But on DVD yesterday, that PK had a little segment there, a little quote about how many people that were in Brinker's ear. Seems like very often there seems like 5 people in Brinker's ear, like weighing an opinion, and Brinker kind of let us into that as well. And I feel like there's still elements of the collaboration at that point. It's like, why do we still have 5? Like, why does Callahan feel like he needs to have 5 people in his ear weighing options on whether or not to kick the field goal before the half or to go for it? And I just don't necessarily think that would be a great thing. Maybe we could just be more efficient and just eliminate some of these people in his ear. Again, that could help him out, but we know Callahan's a placate. He's not going to tell anybody no, or really like how he feels, or like take a firm stance on anything. So that's to his own detriment. Also, too, this operation is complete comedy because they do so much backtracking on their words. Seems like every week, and then now it's like this from the first season to the second season. It's just they're completely moving backwards. Monday, Callahan calls great plays, has no regrets, and then gives up play calling. Like, this is just some of the funniest stuff. And I can't wait to hear the positive praise that Cam Ward is going to give, how great Hardigree is in his play calling as well, because he's the biggest supporter of in there as well. And lastly, your boy Lyons, he had a great tweet yesterday talking about Brinker keeping on Callahan as a human shield, essentially. Yeah. Making it seem, or making the eyes, taking the distraction off of, or using him as a distraction, keep the attention off of Brinker. And I guess because Brinker knows he's next. And I think that was a great take, and that also needed to be some words in there to have some refreshers going on anyways. But guys, hey, the gift that keeps on giving, man. Happy Festivus. Tighten up.
Thank you, Jared. Appreciate it. A lot there from Jared.
That was a lot. Brinker, by the way, a lot of people talking about Brinker. I mean, I assume we'll get a call from Adam, Robby, but real quick, let me just read Adam here. Adam is on one. He's in the YouTube chat. He's in the chat driven by the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. He's about to call us. He's hopefully stalking PK.
Telegram.
Yeah, send a telegram. There you go. Send a little birdie. He says, Brinker's a joke, plain and simple. Any grown businessman who references Moneyball in an intro, just to let you know he reads books, cannot be trusted. I see right through his BS. It'll be a great day when Amy sees it too and fires him. Laughing at the question about our roster. Cool. Smell you later, D-bag. Fired. My goodness, Adam. It's not even 7 a.m. This is a little bit aggressive.
Oh, at least he didn't say he hated his father in that text. So that may be coming in.
Dad sucks. His uncle sucks. His third cousin sucks.
Let's head back to our phone line. Welcome in Kenny the mailman to the program. Kenny, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hello, good friends. I need some help, and I'm reaching out to y'all. Can y'all help me this morning?
Well, we hope so.
Did y'all get good grades in math class?
Oh, no.
Growing up?
I was actually doing really well until geometry.
Well, I hope y'all can help me. I barely got out of Cone High School, but I got out, and I've already broke my number 2 pencil this morning trying to figure out this math problem. We had a 5th-round draft pick who has gotten on the field and played at one of the hardest positions to play. And it seems to me the only problem is he needs hard coaching. He needs someone to really get in his ear and just oversee him. But we take that 5th-round pick. We have control of his money for a few years now. Trade him for a 6th-round pick. But wait, it's not a true 6th-round pick because we're having to give a 7th-round pick to get the 6th-round pick, which will be about 22 picks higher than the 7th-round pick. I just can't add it up. Can y'all add that up for me?
Thank you, Kenny. We will try.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to that, but
we will. We will get into that coming up here in just a few minutes.
That's a good breakdown from Kenny.
It's very well laid out there. It's very confusing on the surface, the Jarvis Brownley trade. So we will get into that here in just a few minutes. I do want to get to the Brian Callahan and his thoughts on his play calling yesterday. So let's go ahead and do that. Here is what Brian Callahan had to say eventually when asked about what he thought of his own play calling yesterday at his press conference.
It's more about you trying to get more of a big picture feel for yourself as it is to kind of a disappointment in your play calling. Is that?
Yeah, I've had zero disappointment in my play calling. I mean, I don't have any disappointment in that at all. But it's just more just so I can see the rest of it, see the big picture better, and do a better job of it.
My play calling is freaking awesome, dude. Maybe you didn't notice every play should have been a touchdown.
Oh, man. I will say these Callahan press conferences have gotten a lot more entertaining because there's a lot of stuff to pick through in the aftermath of them.
If anybody really believed, and look, like these teams, like this happens.
Yeah.
They all lie. I mean, I've seen Mike Mularkey up there. Yeah. I fired one of my best friends because I just was mad at him. It had nothing to do with Amy, even though we just got embarrassed in Houston. It was all me.
Yeah.
It was all my call. This happens all the time. But if anybody like had any question about whether like Callahan was telling the truth, and he's like, I just looked in the mirror, and I mean, listen to that quote and seriously, ask yourself.
I mean, look, and I'm not getting on the national media here because there's a lot going on.
Soft
yesterday.
media.
No,
Soft?
that's not. But I guess the natural follow up to that would be, well, if you have zero disappointment with your play call, why are you giving it up? Right? Like, because like if you're not worried at all about the play calling and you claim that this is your decision that you're giving it up and you feel good about the play calling, I mean, aren't you taking a risk here if you feel good about the play calling where the play calling's getting worse?
I guess you feel really bad about your ability to process basic things like the clock and the rules.
Yeah, I mean, when he said that, I mean, look, when he got up there in the first part of the press conference yesterday and he started talking about how, he just feels like this is the decision that he needs to make right now and that it's the best interest of the football team and all that stuff. Like, we all knew at the time that was not what was happening. But when he said that, when he said he had zero disappointment in the play calling, I mean, it's confirmation. Like, he got told that, hey, buddy, you're not calling plays anymore.
Right. I mean, he there's no way he's happy about this. And then the next question to me, or one of the next questions is, you got to ask about Nick Holtz. Like, is that his call?
Yeah.
Did he say, yeah, actually, let's give it to Bo. He'd be better. Or is it like, not only are we taking this away from you, but yeah, your guy, Nick Holtz, who you went to high school with, he's not going to call the plays.
Was Ziegler in Oakland at the same time, I wonder?
That's a good question.
I wonder how much he knows about him.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I have to look that. I should have looked that up before I just popped on, but there might be some carryover. Maybe he had some influence.
See, that's the thing.
There's about 1,000 people in the front office.
Let's say to Jared
Reggie McKenzie.
There's so many freaking people here that are involved in all this.
No, Amy's done a great job. Let's just have a big booyah base of all kinds of people. I'm sure it'll work out. There's no egos or issues there, and no one knows who's responsible for anything or who reports to who. It'll be great. Let's pay them all. It's a wonderful franchise.
615-737-1025, our phone number. More coming up next on the Callahan offensive play calling situation. We will get into the Jarvis Brownley trade as well, which was mystifying in its own right yesterday. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Come back in. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. 615-737-1025, our phone number.
What are they doing to my Alyssa Milano on Charmed right now? Can we just talk more about Charmed and less about the Tennessee Titans?
Yep. I'd rather talk more about what color paint people are buying. What's in season right now? Let's get more paint talk on the program.
Did you say Peyton or Peyton?
Paint.
Or we could talk about the violence that Paul Kuharsky is about to endure when he comes in the studio if he keeps talking trash to me. Dane from Nolensville says,
Belichick. Put your helmet on.
Yeah, I told him. Dane from Nolensville says, Bill Belichick. What do you guys think? Belichick?
No thanks.
I mean,
Probably not.
He's he may be available soon.
We got a lot of confidence in Bill and Jordan. Jordan's going to be offensive coordinator. We copied her on every email.
Nice.
Be a very Titans thing to do at this point. Like, yeah, come on in, Bill. Hey, come fix this.
What would surprise us at this point? Could there be anything?
Oh, man. Here's another thing that I wonder about. So let's say the Titans feel good about Bo Hargree, right? Bo Hargree has been the quarterback coach coaching Cam Ward, which I still think we would all believe pretty important this year. The development of Cam Ward. Well, not that he can't coach him now, but you are putting a little bit more on him to be the play caller and probably, by proxy, taking some more of his day-to-day responsibilities as quarterback coach away from him because he's worried about calling plays and putting together, a game plan, a script, all those things for the game coming up on Sunday. I don't think it's the world's biggest deal, but it is interesting that they went straight to the quarterback coach when all they're really worried about this year is developing the quarterback. So I don't know. I found that interesting.
Yeah. Well, there's I don't know this. I come up with these ideas in the middle of things. Say, hey, Ian, grab me this quote out of thin air, will you? But at one point, Bo Hargree yesterday was like, Cam will be fine. And I was like, yeah?
He's 3 games in, man.
No, Cam's fine. I need a quarterback coach. Yeah, I got to call some plays. I get ready to call some plays. Cam's fine. He'll be okay.
I just thought about that yesterday. I was like, so they went straight to forget the, in some ways, hilarity of just skipping over the offensive coordinator and being like, oh, we don't want the offensive coordinator calling plays.
I did not get a piece
We do not want that happening. Nick Holtz, we do not want anywhere near the play sheet.
Last time I did not get a piece of cake. This time I did not get a piece of cake.
I mean, just forget that for a second. But going right to the quarterback coach, and it's like, well, we like the work that you're doing with the quarterback every day. And we all would agree that the quarterback, the most important thing. But now we're going to basically make you spend less time with the quarterback now because you got to worry about calling plays. I don't know.
I don't care about what Cam's doing. You need to call better plays for Cam.
Yeah.
And then Brian, they can look at the clock. I mean, okay, let's count up how many timeouts we have. How long is that field goal? How's the K-ball? Do they have the K-ball? There's so many amazing things that can be better now. No,
Brian, which yard line is this on? Is it your 7 or their 7?
What's the difference there? Yeah. I mean, maybe Brian Callahan.
We don't want to be accused of laughing too much about the Titans.
That's right. This is serious stuff.
Yeah, it's serious stuff.
We need to be very solemn and, very serious about this. Maybe Brian Callahan becomes quarterback coach. Like you said, all this ends up, all's well that ends well. And Brian Callahan is $8 million a year quarterbacks coach.
Yeah. I mean, we've had a lot of these questions today, which is understandable. What does the offensive coordinator even do? Now, I've heard Big Joe before talk about this, and this was when Brian Callahan was the head coach and the play caller. And Big Joe's thing has always been, well, if you're the offensive coordinator not calling plays, like, what do you do?
But again, it's all over the league.
It's all over the league.
What they do.
Yeah, I mean, you can, and
they said he was in charge of base down.
Yeah, he's the base down guy.
He's the base down guy. So
yeah.
Better than screens. He's better than the screen guy.
Not a lot better than screens, but a little bit. But like to his point, half the league's got play calling head coaches, right? So there are plenty of offensive coordinators that don't call plays that I'm sure play an important role in the offense, the structure of the offense. I'm sure they weigh in on play calls from time to time. So all that's fine. But it is like, if you're him today, like I think if you're him today, you're probably as hopeless as anybody from the standpoint of, okay, well, we all feel pretty confident we're all getting fired at some point here because you can read the tea leaves and see where this is probably going. But let's say that this works out and Hardegree's really good. Well, I'm not going to be the offensive coordinator anymore. Like, Nick Holtz is screwed. He's done here. Like, that's one of my takeaways from this is, well, if Hardegree's pretty good and he works out, if the Titans want to keep him around, they're probably going to have to make him the offensive coordinator, which says bye-bye Nick Holtz at that point. So he's the worst off out of all of this today.
Right. Like if you get to the point where, again, they're like, okay, we got to take play calling away from Brian, which is what happened. If you're him, again, you could think of, okay, so here's a scenario where, like, because sometimes I know some Titans fans are hoping like there's some kind of a bump from this for the team, like obviously sometimes you see coaching change and you get a bump. Like, could something like this, shaking it up, does that give you something? Who knows? But if it goes well, then Nick Holtz now has on his resume, hey, I called some plays. Like, I have play calling on my resume. I mean, remember, he was a 1-year passing game coordinator in Jacksonville, and he it was kind of a fast track from what he was doing to this situation. But yeah, now it's just like, I mean, they have basically declared, this guy, we'll just go ahead and leapfrog him real fast here.
Yeah. Well, I think what you said early in this conversation is something that when this is all said and done and Brian Callahan's getting fired, which is what's going to happen here, just a matter of when this happens, I think one of the things that Brian Callahan is going to look back on, and there's going to be several things that he's going to look back on, but one of the things is going to be, did I just make an absolutely colossal mistake when I was hired to go first-year offensive coordinator, first-year defensive coordinator, right out of the jump with
and first-year special teams coach, which was the worst part of last year's team.
Right.
Yeah, gigantic errors in staff hiring.
Yeah.
And it's just like, look, the whole nepotism thing and that people bring it up with him and his dad, I understand that. You can look around the history of the NFL. I mean, there's plenty of nepotism. There's also, like, I don't know, Buddy Ryan's kids could coach a little bit. I mentioned Wade Phillips earlier, Bum's kid. I mean, like, there's plenty of that works out. The high school buddy thing. I mean, again, that happens too. A lot of these coaches, who do you trust? Like, who but it's just like, it was a little bit, it's like, what a great story. Dad, son, and he used to drive them to the movies, in the 90s. It's like maybe a little bit too much of that.
Yeah. 615-737-1025, our phone number. The Titans weren't done yesterday when they announced that Brian Callahan's not calling plays anymore. Jarvis Brownley traded to the New York Jets. I was pretty stunned by it. We'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service.
Before we get to the Jarvis Brownley trade of the century, Liam McLeod says, I'd like to see the Titans wait until the season ends to fire Callahan. Maybe next week. Take away his game management, though. The week after that, take away his sideline privileges, and maybe don't let him wear team apparel. Finally, make him sit next to Jared in the stands. But he can keep a headset, though. Well done, Liam. Well done.
Brian?
Hey, you know those Rand Carthon hats? You can wear those,
Yeah.
Okay? Nothing with the flaming thumbtack.
Brian,
you can wear that weird tee.
You're not getting on the plane this week.
This is a low T alert.
You have to fly Southwest. We will meet you in Arizona.
Look, you can expense $15 to get A-list privileges, okay?
Amy said she'll gladly cover it.
And here's a drink ticket.
Don't be buying any extra peanuts on there, though.
That's right.
So Jarvis Brownley Jr. traded yesterday from the Tennessee Titans to the New York Jets in exchange for basically a pick swap. It's Jarvis Brownley and a 7th-rounder headed to the Jets in exchange for a 6th-round draft pick from the Jets. Now, Joe, I saw this yesterday, and my immediate reaction was, what are they doing? Like, this is ridiculous. What sort of a trade is this? On the surface, it makes absolutely no sense. You've got a 5th-round pick from last year that has come in and has outperformed where he was drafted. He's not perfect. And, I kind of joked about this week 1, and maybe I wasn't really joking. I mean, he might set a penalty record if he's out there starting and playing for you every week. So, no, by no means is he perfect, but I also think that we've seen some good reps and some good things from Jarvis Brownley. And heck, compared to a lot of their draft picks over the last few years, he's been great. I mean, my goodness.
Sure.
5th-round pick.
Good value.
That's come in and has played well given where he was drafted. So the return, number one, the decision to trade him in year number 2 makes no sense. It doesn't line up with their organization and where they're at right now. Like
draft, develop, retain.
Yeah, draft, develop, retain. And if you're starting to trade people, you would think it's more like, all right, well, Calvin Ridley, is he getting traded? Or, I don't know, you can trade Jeffrey Simmons, like stuff like that.
Right.
So I was so confused by it. Still am confused by it, which makes me think, Joe, there's got to be something else here. Like he has to have said something, done something. I don't know, because beyond that, beyond him rubbing somebody the wrong way over there, on the surface, it makes no sense, that trade we saw yesterday.
The Titans have opened themselves up to be clowned on anything. The front office, the coaching staff, like it's open season, and it's totally deserved and totally earned. But sometimes you got to step back and ask yourself, I mean, even if you moderately follow the NFL, you understand like the value here, right? Of him as a 5th-rounder outperforming that and then swapping a 7 for a 6, just like Kenny called in earlier and give us the math. I mean, they're not that dumb, okay? Just like I don't buy for a second this Callahan looking in the mirror and I decided, by golly, I'm going to strip myself of my play calling duties even though I'm awesome at calling plays. I also do not buy that this is just the Titans are that bad at just basic thought in the front office. So I don't buy for a minute. I mean, this has to be an issue with Brownlee, and we'll have PK coming in and get his thoughts, and maybe he has some insight on that. It's also, I mean, look at like Brownlee was in a boot, right? On Sunday.
Correct.
And last week, what did we have? What information did we have on Brownlee?
Well, he was practicing during the week last week.
That's right. He got hurt.
I believe on the
week.
Wednesday, on either Wednesday or Thursday. I'll go back and look.
It was later in the week that something happened.
He left practice, and then he was unable to play.
It'd be interesting if he just all fine and ready to go for the Jets. As many people have pointed out, David and Paris, by the way.
Yeah.
Boy, bundle up, my man.
I'm very proud.
Bundle up.
I mean, that's my favorite moment from Jarvis Brownley in his time with the Titans. After the Washington game, they got run on for about 1 billion yards in that game. He's like, hey, look, nobody else going to have the courage to say this. I will. I'll step up. I'll say it. It's cold out there. It's cold out there, man. Let me just tell you, it's cold.
It was that Thursday. Wednesday, all good. That Thursday, limited.
Yeah. So I think he left practice Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I may be looking into that whole thing, and there's no need to. But yeah, like there's no way you do this unless you think that trading him, like there's an untenable situation with him, trading him away. Maybe it's a trading him away, like you think he's a locker room, whatever. It's something like that, right? Like it makes zero sense on its face.
Like, I'm not saying that he's going to be some all-pro player or anything, right? Like he's not that good.
No, but he's at least he's a fringe starter.
He's
for sure.
fringe starter, and he's a 5th-round pick, and he's young, and he's a guy that has overperformed where you drafted him. And frankly, like they need more of those guys. Like not less. They need more of those guys around right now when it comes to the Titans. So
young, cheap guys who can play a little bit.
So something has to have gone down here. I don't know what it is. I don't know if we're going to get some clarity on that at some point or what that's going to look like. But on the surface, it just makes no sense. So something has to have gone down here. Somebody on the text line says it's a weak locker room. I'm sorry, but he was going to be there longer than Callahan and his garbage staff demand an explanation. We'll see. Like, I don't know. Do you think Borgonzi and/or Brinkert should talk about this? Like, it's a 5th-round pick at the end of the day. So I don't know. I doubt you're going to see it.
They will. And look, they're going to trade more people, I think.
Yes.
Because I think they're headed for a sell-off and some trades that make sense.
Right.
Like you said, some of these veterans, like if you're a Titans fan and you're still going to watch the football, root for Calvin Ridley to start to look like a professional receiver here soon and things like that. Because I think it's guys like that who – so when those things happen, then I assume there'll be a conversation. And again, it's like Borgonzi or Brinker or both those of I bring in Burke to make it the whole berserker. I don't know. I mean, yesterday Stilly's texting me because I mentioned like Borgonzi's draft class. Like, what do you mean? It's Brinker's draft class. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell me. But thank you. But I mean, it's never worked better than it's like every day it becomes even more beautiful and perfectly suited for these guys. But I don't think they're going to talk just about this particular situation. That's one of those things that needs to be asked. So let's hope that Mr. Magoo, aka PK, remembers to ask the question when they finally do have the press conference.
Well, I mean, Callahan's speaking today. I'm sure it's going to come up, right? Like, I'm sure the Brownlee trade will come up, and as people have pointed out on the text line, it's probably going to be something that, just Jarvis needed to change the scenery, and probably not going to get much detail out of it. So
but
we'll
who
see.
Knows?
I don't know. We'll see what happens on that front, but it makes me think that something has to have gone down there. Because here's the other thing. Not just how old he is, and the Titans are a young team, and they're trying to build with some of these guys. I also look at corner, and I'm like, I don't know that corner right now, unless you can get something big for L'Jarius Sneed, I don't know that corner would be the place that I'm subtracting from right now. The depth there is not good.
No, exactly. Like it's so you've weakened your team, which doesn't need to be weakened at all. And how are these guys again? Like if you're Brian Callahan, who's gonna be the one who has to address it today? There may be stuff behind the scenes where it's like, oh yes, this had to happen. But if you're him and the only way, if you still think there's a way you're keeping your job past this year, the only way is winning.
Yeah.
Winning football games. Like there's just not, I mean, the Cam Ward thing is like, I mean, especially with the way they've jumbled everything, you have to win football games. Well, you just got weaker. Like you're not better. Not that Jarvis Brownley is some lockdown guy, but like you could be pretty bad out there at corner. Whereas with him, you're going to have some penalties, but you're also, you've got a guy who can play a little bit.
Take your thoughts on the Jarvis Brownley trade. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Paul Kuharsky from PaulKuharsky.com will be with us later in the program. We got a whole lot of things to get into with PK on the Titans front. So we're taking your thoughts on the Jarvis Brownley trade at the moment.
Hey, shout out to Anthony Moore on the YouTube chat. He says, I'm listening in from Brisbane, Australia. I usually listen to your podcast the next morning. Callahan has to go. I'm not waking up at 3 a.m. on Mondays to watch his awful coaching.
Thank you, Anthony, for listening.
It's dedication right
So
there.
he watches the games live at 3 a.m. on Monday. My goodness. That's some
dedication,
fandom.
especially for this team. That guy needs to win Fan of the Year.
Cheers to you, Anthony.
Yep. Well, we have our complete and total respect. Total respect out there.
See, this is, again, at some point things are going to get better.
Make sure you don't boo, though. Can't have that.
Yeah, that's right. At some point things are going to get better, and it's people like you who will deserve it the most. Think of those days. When will they come? I don't know, but I know they will come.
Keith says, next week, Callahan will announce that Hardegree, Holtz, and McCoy are all co-coordinators. Offensive coordinator by committee. We have one collective coordinator together. We all are a part coordinator.
Yeah. And then sack races.
Yeah. John from Nashville says, the return on the trade for Brownley is terrible. Why not get a corner from the Jets in exchange? And we had to also give up our 7th to make this happen. I mean, Joe, it tells me, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, but it tells me that I think the Titans were shopping him, right? Like, it tells me that they were the ones putting him out, not that people were just randomly calling about Jarvis Brownley at that point.
Well, there was a report about the Patriots.
Yes.
Who had the report? I apologize for not properly crediting you, but you had the report. Good job, you, whoever you are. And that report tells me that there was a shopping situation of Brownley. And by the way, can you imagine if the exact same trade was made with the Bravester?
Oh, man.
Also, even colder up there. But
It's true.
Yeah. So, yeah, this was they at some point here.
Jordan Schultz, by the way.
Jordan Schultz.
Yep.
Hey, come on in, PK. Maybe Jordan and I can both beat the crap out of you. Say another word about the Detroit Tigers. You're dead. But anyway, that tells me that they were shopping him around. And so very recently, it seems like it was like, yep, he's got to go.
Yeah.
So we're going to pay for it because, like you're trading away a young player who's cheap and playing beyond his draft value, but that's how much we want him gone. That is what has happened here.
I mean, what could have possibly gone down for that to be the case? I don't know.
But I don't know.
It's just wild.
I mean, it could be an accumulation. I guess if you want to talk football stuff, I mean, I think he's been worse this year. The penalties, he seems to be sort of, obviously some of his answers on the penalties.
But it can't be just that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But it's like, I guess, could that be part of it?
Could be. It could be part of it. But like, if it's not something egregious, either like in the building or off the field, whatever, then it just doesn't make any sense because you have to, like, if it's just on the field related, I mean, don't you have to find a way to try to coach through that at some point? Like you would think.
Yeah, man, this organization just changes jobs.
That's true.
Changes people's jobs. Yeah, why not just move people on, get people out of here?
Let's head back to our 102.5 The Game phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Roy to the program. Roy, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Morning, guys. I'm just kind of confused on the Brownley trade. 3 games in, they preached to us all off season, training camp, that they want to develop young players and have guys with talent and have them here for the future. And, he's under his rookie contract. Granted, this year he's kind of had a lot of penalties, some other things, not look good for him on the field, but they preached to us all off season about developing young guys. And if the coaches can't develop these guys, maybe it's not the player. I mean, this kind of reminds me, it's kind of different. Alteron Werner years ago when they dumped him when he was playing at a real high level, it just scratched my head for years. And I'm still mad about the Werner trade, even though that's been years and years ago. I just don't understand. And granted, you get a 6th round and you flip your 7th for the 6th and you just want to dump him. And it seems like this roster needs every position player like him out there to rotate in and out. It just doesn't make sense. Seems like there's probably some other things that's probably on the horizon that's gonna have a trickle effect. Tighten up, guys. I'm just confused.
Thank you, Roy. Appreciate the call. Well, to that last point, Joe, are we going to start seeing some trades like pretty quickly here? Last year we talked about the idea of selling off before the deadline, and they did some of that, right? Like, Hopkins was gone, and they did some of that. Could you see a major sell-off this year? Like, could they be looking at Ridley? Could they be begging somebody to take Snead? Like, does Jeffrey Simmons get traded at some point? And if so, like, is the Brownley trade a signal that they've already started that process, or is it just on its own independent, and we'll see some of that a little bit closer to the actual trading deadline, which I don't think is to the first week of November?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm looking at this independently. Again, I think it's a Brownley thing specifically, but I think that's also possible. And again, if that's the case, if you're Brian Callahan and now you can focus on being the CEO, how are you supposed to win a football game? I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do. I'm just saying they basically are telling you that they're making a change at the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
Certainly if they do that, you give him no chance to win football games, then okay. There's no way that you bring him back next year.
I think they're already there.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that may be the case. I'm just saying it's like if you're him, I mean, I'm sure if you're him, maybe not. Maybe he sees a rat on the wall too, and you just got to go through the process and don't burn any bridges and, and try to be somebody's QB coach maybe OC next year or whatever. But if you're him and you still have any fight and hope of keeping the job, I think you'd probably like to keep some players who can play football.
Too. Yeah, I think you would too. I think this is also where I think that his job status and the organizational goals probably end up being at odds with each other. Because if I'm Borgonzi right now, I'm looking at this roster and I'm saying, get me as many draft picks as you can possibly get me. Like, we need a lot of picks coming up over the next few years. And I'm not saying you sell off anybody for anything. Like, if you're going to trade Jeffrey Simmons away, you better get appropriate compensation back for Jeffrey Simmons, right? Like, you don't just make the deal to make a deal. Now, on the Ridley front, on the Snead front, how well they're going to be playing by the time the deadline comes around. Because right now, I don't know what you're getting for Calvin Ridley. Guy can't catch the football at the moment. So I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. But I think we are rapidly approaching a point where what's best for Callahan and what's best for the organization as a whole in terms of how they approach this thing are going to be directly at odds with each other.
Right. So it's just lame duck time. And again, so let's talk about what the most important thing is in the franchise. Who is the most important person? As we've said 10 million times, it's Cam Ward. So how does this benefit him? The guy who specifically works with him is now a play caller who said, yeah, Cam will be fine.
Yeah.
The Callahan, look, again, Cam, everybody's out on Brian. I get it. Cam is unprompted telling people how much he likes him. I mean, does Brian do more with him now? I mean, I have no idea. I don't know how it will look, but you've signed up now you've already disrupted things and disrupted the process. Whether it was a good or bad process, it's the process you agreed on that you all decided to do, and you're already disrupting it 3 games into the season, which again does not happen at all. If Brian Callahan doesn't make 2 gaffes that are so ridiculous, the whole league is making fun of him. If those things don't happen, this isn't happening right now.
Now,
so this is all to potentially the detriment of Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Because of these. And again, so then I like the thought process on doing this, I really have to question the people who came up with this idea.
Well, and then it gets into, man, when you're a quarterback and you get drafted to bad organizations, which make no mistake about it, the Titans are a bad organization.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard. It's hard to overcome it. And I'm not saying he can't do it, but there's no question about it. Like, if you want to be honest with yourself and you're a Titans fan, I think we know that. You are like the Browns and the Jets right now. Doesn't mean that you have to be that way forever. But right now, you're in that category of just the absolute dumpster fire organizations in the league.
No, you're the Lions, and I know that's the thing, and that's the hope, right? You're the Lions, who because of ownership have more joke for decades and decades, and sometimes you still can get people in who come together, do a great job, and you can have good football teams. But it's a bad organization.
Yeah.
Which is what you are.
One more thing on the Brownlee part that's interesting to bring up that people brought up on the text line. I'll get your thoughts on that coming up next. Paul Kuharsky will be with us later in the program, 615-737-1025. Our phone number, I believe. He's having a run-in with the law enforcement at the moment, so we'll see if he's here at some point.
Wait, what?
Kuharsky got pulled over. So if the police officer is listening, let's let PK off with a warning. He's got a job to do. Come in here.
I'm not worried about a ticket. If he earned a ticket, he needs a ticket. I mean, you got to do your job. We all got to do a job.
So hopefully PK will be in here at some point. 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Shout out to law enforcement in our town. Metro PD does a great job out there.
Absolutely. Keep those streets safe.
What's going on as we speak?
Like I texted PK.
They never
baby.
stop. 24/7, baby.
That's right. I texted PK. Maybe spend a little less time making fun of the Detroit Tigers, a little more time monitoring your speed. You'd be in here right now. Yeah, but lesson learned, I hope.
A lot of people
we'll find out.
Asking if PK got pulled over for blocking the box. We'll see. I'm interested to get, maybe. Hopefully we'll see here at some point.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes those stops can be long. Just let's move it along. We need PK in here. I mean, it's so bad for the Titans.
Write him his ticket and let's go.
I mean, Titans riders are falling apart. My goodness.
Good week.
What everything that touches the Titans.
So this has been brought up a couple of times on the text line, and I want to get your thoughts on it. We know Brownley got called for a lot of penalties in week 1. Very handsy out there, illegal contact, pass interference, things of the like. And basically, when he was asked about it after the game, he was like, I don't really know what to do. I'm just going to play the way I play. And it was pretty clear the next week that Denard Wilson did not like that response. Like, he was like, no, we're going to have to coach it. We're going to have to change it. Like, that's not acceptable to get out there and just get flagged all the time. Could this have stemmed from all that? Could it have gotten that bad between the Titans and Brownlee's approach that they just figured, you know what, get this guy out of here?
Yeah, it could be. I guess I would hope it'd be something beyond that, because to me it's kind of like, well, this is as a defensive coordinator, as a coach, as a coaching staff, like, you have to deal with these things, right? Like I guess I would hope it would be more like there's some detriment to the team, and like there's some addition by subtraction with the team, with the locker room, in making this move, not just that got into a flap with the coach about the handsy stuff, but it certainly, this is something we know publicly, so it makes sense to think about that. I think that could be something. I'd like to ask PK, can we get him out? Can we get him on CB? Can we get breaker? You got Kuharsky with you? Is he in the back of the car? Sir, can he make his one phone call now, please? We have a question for him.
Check it in. Paul, your thoughts on Jarvis Brownley's trade?
Oh, boy. I can't wait till he comes in here. We'll save the rant for you, PK.
Let's head to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Michael to the program. Michael, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Before I get to my point, we're going to need DJ Burnside to make a sick edit of PK in the back of the squad.
That's a great call.
We really do.
That's a great call.
He's got to get on that for sure. But anyway, to my point, Joe, I don't want to keep piling on to your beloved Detroit Tigers, but is this going to be the worst collapse in just professional sports history? It's got to be on at least the Mount Rushmore, because, I mean, it's everything you hear about what's happening with them. It's almost unbelievable. It seems like it should be impossible. And may your grandmother rest in peace. She went out saying them on a high note. She did not have to witness this, thankfully. May she rest in peace.
Thank you, Michael.
That is a good point. I mean, yeah.
At least you didn't have to see this.
That's true. I mean, things were going well. I think it's thanks for bringing it up.
Jeff, I'll read the Jeff Passan
call.
tweet that you sent me last night.
Yeah.
August 25th. Not that long ago, Joe. Detroit holds a 12.5 game lead over Cleveland. September 23rd, which was yesterday. The Guardians beat the Tigers to tie them atop the AL Central, and now they own the tiebreaker as well. One of the great surges and collapses we've ever seen, all over the course of less than a month.
Yeah,
your thoughts?
It's great. I mean, I want them to forfeit. They have 5 games left. They're tied for the division lead. So if you went into the season and told me there's 5 games left and the Detroit Tigers are tied for the division lead, and they're playing the team the next 2 days they're tied with, I would have said, hell yeah, sign me up. You know what? I want them to forfeit the whole season. I want them to never play baseball again. This is not supposed to be the rant. We're not supposed to be talking about the Detroit Tigers. We have enough issues in this town with our professional sports teams.
The Detroit Tigers are winning today. Lock it down. They're winning today. This went really well for me last week when I picked the Titans, so you're welcome.
Yeah.
The Tigers are winning today.
They could be up 12-1 in the 9th inning, and I would bet my entire life savings that they would lose. Okay? Seriously.
Down bad right now.
It's that bad. It is one of the all-time collapses ever.
Down very bad.
So
right
thanks
now.
for the call. Appreciate it.
We have people texting in wondering if Tavondre Sweat is going to be traded next.
Well, like you said,
hey, just trading people from last year.
Well, like you said, Cam.
Yeah.
Trade him the Giants, Russ, and a 6?
Can we get Russ back?
Look at this
and
guy.
Maybe a 5th round pick. Their latest criminal has made it in the building.
Hey, can you play jailbreak? There's no way he's here legally. He absolutely must have. Was this like a Smoking the Bandit scene? He's bound and now. Kuharsky is on his way.
We've had entirely too much fun with
They've
this.
really expedited the process.
Oh, good.
He didn't even ask for insurance or registration, which is good because I was struggling to find the registration. But just a license, and they used to go back there and they'd spend 20 minutes and everything. I mean, he was back in no time.
Wow.
Did you get a ticket or no?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, this was just terrible. It was a big backup. Everybody's slowing down. I was like, what the F? And I went up the left and cut across, and he was right there on his motorcycle, aimed right at me. I hit the brakes hard. 66 and a 45.
Oh.
Damn, man. He got you the reckless driving,
Woo!
right?
They didn't give me reckless driving. Just said
Okay.
66 and a 45.
Oh,
Speeding
I thought
ticket.
20,
Said
I
it
thought
could go to
20 was
traffic school.
automatic with that.
I
Traffic
don't think
school?
it's
Traffic
automatic.
school option.
Okay.
Well, a lot of people
online. I like the headphone setup at this station. It's great.
Yeah, we'll get that corrected. here
I
in a
love
second.
Joe's logic. Joe's giving me like fan logic. Like, Jarvis Brownley was in a boot last week. That was fake. And if only you weren't talking about the Tigers, you would have been more focused on your driving and you would have made it here in no time.
Hey, look, I like that.
Nonsensical BS.
I appreciate you trying to deflect away from your criminal behavior in public. That's fine. We can talk about other things if you
I'm
like.
just glad.
I'd rather have a ticket than gout. I'll use his kind of logic.
We had a lot of people
Maybe
wondering.
did Jarvis Brownley had gout and was that why he's wearing the boot? Do we know this for sure? No.
Yeah, Titans fans, amazingly, like between Sweat and Brownlee, they've decided like it's impossible for a player to get hurt during the week.
Yeah.
Wait, he didn't get hurt in the game. This is some conspiracy.
Kind of fishy.
He wasn't on the injury report on Wednesday, but he's on it on Thursday. My God.
I'm with them.
I'm
Kinda
just
fishy.
glad that you didn't get pulled over for blocking the box. That would have been a tough hit to the brand there.
Listen, they'd never pull anybody over for blocking the box. I could park in the box and not get pulled over. I would do it out of protest to like see if something could happen. It's impossible.
We're glad you made it.
Thank you very much.
Really
The
glad you
guy
made
was very fast. I appreciate that. It's the fastest pullover I've ever had.
Yeah, there you go. I mean,
I think that quite frankly, when I pay this fine, I think the game should pay half of it. I was busting my hump
Just
to get
half?
over here. Well, listen, I understand the budget over here. I was trying to get here. It was working for you.
He's really he's a man of the people.
I mean, 60. What did I say?
66 and a
He's
45.
going 95 and a 20.
Trying to get here. And the problem was the reason I was pushing it is because there was such damn unnecessary traffic on 65. If you people on 65 would drive, everything would be fine. I wouldn't be going to traffic school.
We'll get PK some headphones. We'll have the Rex rant coming up next.
I
You're
got
listening to
nothing.
Robby and Rexrode. Maybe we'll hear from PK more too on the rant. 102.5 the game.
Let's have a show rant.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Oh, yes, you suck, Nico, greedy, burr, burr, burr.
Ooga, ooga. This dude is an idiot.
Breaker, you got Kuharsky with you?
It's so fun to hear you try to be hip.
PK's uninformed on something else.
Well, did you know the play, Paul?
I'll siphon gasoline through, your tailpipe.
You might want to sing it note for note.
It is time for the Rex Rant, brought to you by Functional Medicine of Tennessee. Rise up to better health. Check them out at functionalmedicineoftennessee.net.
I need to get through these jokes, and we've had some great stuff from the listeners today, like the William from Dover. Paul got a scholarship to Georgia to play football after this.
Kirby Smart's on the phone with Paul right now.
Now, who is this guy? Kuharsky?
A speeding violation.
66. That's pretty good.
How fast is he?
Can you do 76?
We are losing our minds. Okay. But look, we have so many things to ask you, PK. So I want to go right to that. First of all, percentage chance that Brian Callahan looked in the mirror and said, my play calling is amazing, but I don't think I'm going to do that anymore.
Well,
no, give me a number.
Well, Brinker and Borgonzi told him to look in the mirror, then hi.
They're holding it.
If they brought him a mirror and they said, see that mirror behind your desk, flip your chair.
Oh my God. Okay. Do you guys have ever seen the movie Purple Rain?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Well, like when Morris Day is on stage, they're holding the mirror around to him. Here you go, Brian. Check it out.
Another situation where I haven't memorized the film and it fails me. I never realized that when I started doing sports talk radio, my big failure was going to be that I didn't memorize film.
Just the whole thing. You remember that line?
Do the bird.
Berserker. I'm supposed to remember that. I'm supposed to remember that line.
I mean, it's sad that you don't.
I could give you a lot of Fletch.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's fine. You put your ticket on the Underhill. See? We get that. You get it? Okay.
There you go.
So 0. We're at 0.0.
Yeah, that's not what happened. We all know that's not what happened. He said, what did he say? He said he had no problem with his play calling, basically.
He basically said it's freaking awesome
in his play calling. So, I mean, from the zero disappointment in his play calling, I think it could only get worse. Right?
That's kind of what I thought.
If he's 100% as a play caller, Hardigree has a hell of a standard to live up to. So if he has zero disappointment in his play calling, he had to be nudged to give it up. I have no doubt he was nudged to give it up.
Nudged?
Well,
nudge seems a little light. Yeah. Don't you think he was ordered to give it up?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, nudged is.
Well, look, he's clearly in self-preservation mode. Yes. So, I mean, it's conceivable he's thinking, I'm going to have to do this in order to continue to stay in some level of graces here. So, he's probably thinking this is going to happen as they're asking him, telling him it needs to happen.
Do you believe it's Berserker, which would be what we call the front office around here?
Yeah. Well, who else is?
Well, I mean, there's an owner.
Yeah.
You think she's letting them just figure it out and staying detached?
I would hope that 3 games in, after a pledge to stay detached, that she's managing to stay detached. Now, I understand a bad loss in Houston for the Adams family can change all detachment pledges. So we're on alert for that. And then I believe Rabel leaving the field here stained in blood, which I expect to happen no matter his bad roster, could also do that. And I've written this. I mean, the 2 trigger points for her to re-involve herself magically after completely separating herself and leaving the team to be something that she merely observes from a distance while she leaves Burke Nihill and Chad Brinker to be her voice and really lead this football team. Those are the 2 things that I think could re-inject her into involvement.
What do you make of what apparently was just zero consideration given to Nick Holtz being now the play caller as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I don't think it's as big a deal as you guys do for this reason. When they hired this staff, and they went too young, obviously, but when they hired this staff, they're fully expecting that Brian Callahan's calling the plays. So they're not like lining up like who's going to be the next guy to call plays. It's not like the Vrabel situation where you have to have somebody next. There's no situation where you're saying, well, if the head coach is a bad play caller, who's the reserve guy to play call? And so Holtz is like the consigliere to a degree to Callahan. And so when Callahan fails at play calling, you then look at who's the best option to be the play caller. And it doesn't happen to be the offensive coordinator. The guy with the best, most recent experience is Hardegree. I was a little surprised. I thought it might be McCoy, who didn't do it as a head coach for the Chargers, but did do it at 3 other stops as an offensive coordinator. All of us were writing pre-prep expecting this to happen, and I got the art ready for Holtz, and I got the art ready for McCoy, and of course I was nowhere on Hardegree. So I'll admit I didn't see that coming, but Hardegree makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense to me.
Okay, well, I'm going to argue with you here. Okay, so then why does everyone who gets Nick Holtz's job get head coaching jobs where they call plays? I mean, that is what, right? Brian Callahan never called a freaking play, but he gets a head coaching job where he calls plays. Go all over the league. This is what happens. So there's no way that you can say that this decision is not some commentary on Nick Holtz and what he's done.
Sure. I mean, you could look at it that way, but you could also look at it as some commentary on Bo Hardegree and what he's done. The Bears wanted Bo Hardegree as their passing game coordinator in the offseason, and the Titans denied him that. Bo Hardegree has a bigger reputation on what he's done in the league and seems to be more of a riser than Nick Holtz.
Yeah. I mean, look, you do this with Callahan, his handpicked buddy, OC, passed over. I mean, I guess really the big picture here is this is just, someone said it earlier in the text line, shuffling the chairs on the deck of the Titanic.
Absolutely.
It's the next step before
it's a
the
precursor to him
inevitability.
being fired. That's what it is. It's a precursor to him being fired. And look, on the Nick Holtz front, I'll tell you, and I believe this, he's worse off out of all of this. And you may be right about all that, but the bottom line is now either they're all going to get fired and be bad enough where they're getting fired, or Bo Hardegree going to step in and do a good job, and he's going to be the offensive coordinator of the team. Holtz is done. Like, it's done. There's no coming back from this.
I can't imagine that there's a holdover if they do this, unless, I mean, if Hardegree does a great job at this, I'm not saying it saves Brian Callahan. It maybe opens the door for you to hire a defensive head coach. If you say, hey, would you like this offensive coordinator? But then if Hardegree's really good at it, then he's gone in a year as a head coach. And you're back in that cycle.
Well,
I mean,
and also,
it's never been more
the new hire is
complicated.
going to have his own guy anyway.
It's
right?
never been
I mean,
more complicated to sort out the thing. And I think the coaching pool is thinned. I mean, you could say that every year, but I mean, the names people are throwing out to be his replacement, which isn't a conversation I'm anxious to have going into week 4.
But here we are.
You know, the John Gruden train's going hard. I mean, John Gruden hasn't had he had like 6 winning seasons in 14 years. Basically a 500 coach.
It's also
he's got this rep as a quarterback developer. He's got this rep as a quarterback developer. I mean, if you drop Jeff Garcia onto this team, people would go insane. Jeff Garcia or Brad Johnson. Oh, the quarterback developer. Yeah, Rich Gannon. He hit a home run one time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I was also thinking about this. So Hardegree, look, I'm not saying it can get much worse because I don't think it can. But he's a guy that's been working with your quarterback every day, and we all would agree that the quarterback is the most important part of this organization by far, especially knowing in your back pocket now, if you're everybody involved with this, that the head coach is not going to be here next year. I mean, barring a miracle, not going to be here. So now you've taken the guy that has been working with your quarterback every day in Bo Hardegree. And I'm not saying he's not going to be working with Cam Ward still, but he does have more on his plate now where he's got to worry about calling plays. Like, what do you make of that part of it?
He does. He talked about that.
He said Cam will be fine.
Yeah,
he's fine. Cam's fine.
You know, he said, I am going to have to, separate myself from him once in a while to go talk to position groups about what's coming next or what we just did or what the next third down play is and all of that. But I mean, I don't think you don't do it for fear of taking him away from Ward a little bit. And what would benefit Ward in a big way is better sequencing of play calling. So if you're getting a better sequencing of play calling out of Bo Hardegree, well, and Cam Ward spends a little less time with him, I'd make that trade-off.
Percentage chance that Brian Callahan is the Titans head coach in 2026?
Zero.
Not even like they go 11-5.
Well, that's what I'm telling you.
The percentage chance of that is also zero. And thus I'm
watching the biggest collapse in pro sports history, so I'm thinking possibilities are endless.
True. 2%.
Okay,
It's very low. Yeah.
I was going to go 1.3.
Yeah, I will go 0. Let's head back to our 102.5.
I went 0 and I was shamed into 2%.
I nudged you.
I just it's they put him back and said we think this is a guy who can grow, and he's shrunk in the moment.
Yeah,
and he admitted as much the other day. Like, yeah, this stuff wasn't happening last year, and it's happening now. And I think if there's any now that he's given up play calling, if there's anything like the stuff we saw, the 2 incidents in the Denver game and this incident in the Colts game, if there's anything like that again this season, and he's got 14 opportunities, if there's one more thing like that,
Eberflus,
he's fired.
Yeah, I mean, you can't make any. I don't think even his biggest supporters and the biggest patience peddlers, have to go back on their word and just say, no. Now, I think that people are unreasonable out there in expecting what they expect from an in-house replacement. I think you get a temporary boost, and you still have a crap roster and a terrible situation.
Let's quickly welcome Trey to the program on our phone line. Trey, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Morning.
Hey, I wanted to say, okay, all right, everybody's giving, Brian Callahan flack. Okay. But if he sends in a play call, an 8th grade coaching play call, and you got a player, a quarterback as far as Cam Ward that can't produce or execute that play, then that's on Cam Ward. That's not on Coach Callahan. I think this separation of him not being able to call plays either is going to be a vindication for Brian Callahan, or it's going to be like, okay, Cam really can't play. And I've been around champions. I have 5 champions that been in championships right now from my neighborhood. And I see them, and I see Cam Ward, and I'm just saying, I don't see it in him. I don't see it. And that goes as far as seeing the players going down the field, hitting receivers, his footwork, his thinking through the game. I don't see it.
Well, he certainly has a long way to go.
Thank you, Trey.
But also Calvin Ridley should catch some balls for him, and he's got to get rid of the ball faster. You're not going to get a decisive conclusion on Cam Ward 3 games in.
Rexrode, it's broken his hand over there.
I'm like, dude, we got to go.
Yeah.
That was a quick wrap.
It was good. 615.
You don't go fast enough.
1025.
Depending on if they ask law enforcement. But.
We got one more hour with PK coming up next. Got a lot of thoughts on the Titans to get into with him. We'll take yours as well. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Paul Kuharsky brought to you by Jimmy Kelly's Steakhouse, featuring their new rooftop dining experience. PK with us for the next hour, talking all things Tennessee Titans. Keep your questions coming in. We see them. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. PK, we will get to the Jarvis Brownley trade coming up here in just a few minutes. I want to stick on Callahan for the moment, though, because there is a Houston game coming up. The play calling duties have now been taken away from him. We all saw what happened at the end of the first half the other day, and it was absolutely atrocious. So, with all that in the backdrop, like I said to begin the show, I believe that the Titans don't want to fire him, right? Like, they have preached patience. They have preached, being as, drafting, developing, trying to be as patient as possible throughout all this. And I think even they know that dismantling the head coach in year one of your quarterback is not a good thing. Regardless of what you think of the coach, it's not a good thing. I also think it's reached the point with Callahan where it's going to happen at some point that he gets fired. So how thin do you think the ice is? Like, Terry McCormick called in the other day and talked about this. A lot of people have thrown this out there because it's the Houston game and it's on the road at Houston. They're 0-3. If they go down there and lose, people are just expecting him to be canned on Monday morning. And I understand why they are. Do you think that's actually a possibility, given the fact that it's week 4 of the season? It's not even going to be October yet when this game gets played.
Look, I mean, they can do anything at any time. I can't pretend to be able to predict. Brinker and Borgonzi, I don't think they're going to get killed publicly for making the move. People want the move to be made. But I do think in NFL circles, with stability and patience being the thing, with him being 4 games into his rookie quarterback, with him just having handed over play calling, I don't think you help yourself with your search for your next head coach by canning Brian Callahan 4 games into his second season with all of the change that's happened around him. And I think that's got to be part of what you're considering. It's already, look, I think people oversell that it's a bad job. It's one of 32. It's not going to be the premier job by any means in a circle, but you're going to be able to get, somebody that is beyond satisfactory.
Always.
If you do a good search and are intelligent about it. And I think, Borgonzi seems to me to be a legitimate guy, and I think he'll do a good job with his role in that. But
which is what? But yeah,
I think it'd be at least 50%. I do. But with Amy with the final say is dangerous. And but I just think if you do it that quickly, it sends a message to the league that this is even messier than you thought in terms of job security and stability and all of that. And that big picture is something that people don't think about or don't care about in terms of must have blood now kind of thing, which I understand.
I think it's way less likely that he gets fired now because of this. This is their thing.
By time.
This is their thing. Okay, here's some accountability and somebody doing something, and now it's like they don't want to do it, and they're not. Again, of course we can't 100% predict how she'll react in the moment of something, but I think I would drop the percentage likelihood a fair amount because of this move.
And you're talking
I agree with you too. But
yes,
if something
exactly.
bad happens in Houston and the wrong people are screaming at her when she's walking out and somebody close to her whispers in her ear, that's enough. You never know.
I wonder if Brian Callahan wishes he took the Panthers job now. That was the toxic ownership situation at the time. It's like, give me Levis and the Titans, right?
Yeah.
So
Levis is taller than the quarterback you love in Carolina.
So PK,
that is a fair point.
When this all comes to an end, barring some miracle that he holds on his job, but when it all comes to an end, as Brian Callahan is looking back through all this, how much of a mistake do you think it is? How much of a mistake do you think he has either already come to realize or we'll eventually realize that it is, that he took the job and said, first year offensive coordinator, first year defensive coordinator, first year special teams coordinator, and that's how he rounded out his staff there.
Well, I think it's a huge mistake. And I think, maybe over-reliance on, well, my dad is the veteran coach here. Virtually every first-time head coach has a former head coach on his staff. And he has one, and his dad on the offensive lineman is not enough and not high-ranking enough. And I'm not suggesting he should have given his dad a higher rank. He needed an offensive or defense, really, I'd say defensive coordinator of high rank. Not that I've got any kind of huge beef with Denard. Yeah.
Right. Even Vrabel, different situation, but even Vrabel getting Pease, was a good move. And he's a defensive guy, but still, got Pease. Good move.
And he, ultimately that relationship went south. But for the first couple of years, you had it. You got your sea legs with you. I think it was a mistake, and I think that some of that goes on. Now you're going to have to help me with the timing. Carthon and Brinker, but Brinker wasn't in power yet when Callahan came on board, right? So it was Carthon. So there's another.
Man, you tell me. I don't know who the hell's doing anything over there.
Another dent on Carthon. Well, Carthon was a Denard guy, so Carthon helped Denard get that job. So Carthon, instead of putting up guardrails on, hey, first-time head coach who needs some experienced coordinators, is and again, I don't have anything against Denard. I think Denard's been super personnel limited. He's super personnel limited now. But again, a more experienced defensive coordinator would not have been a bad thing. And rather than putting up guardrails on Callahan in terms of, hey, you really need some experience on your staff, influenced some inexperience on his staff, and another way that Carthon hurt them.
Real quick, good point from Mike from PA. I mean, if you want to talk about like a franchise that looked like a steaming pile where it's like, do not touch it, like the Texans are a great example, right? They get D'Amico Ryans and they get CJ Stroud, and hey,
they're 0-3.
I understand right now they're bad, but still, that's for Titans fans who, like, at some point, even the worst situations in this league can stumble into competent
I think
people.
Washington was
exactly.
Now they changed ownership,
right?
So the dream of dreams for some sports fans, but
also Adam Peters, who took himself out of the running, when the Titans foolishly hired Rand Carthon. Took the Washington job with the new ownership, and he's been fantastic. While the Titans had to restart, have already restarted in the time that Adam Peters turned them down.
615-737-1025. More coming with PK next. We'll get his thoughts on the Jarvis Brownley trade. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com with us for the rest of the program, talking all things Titans. PK, Jarvis Brownley traded yesterday from the Titans to the New York Jets. The Titans send Brownley a 7th-round pick to the Jets in exchange for a 6th-round pick. So my first reaction when I saw that, PK, was, huh? Not that I think Jarvis Brownley is, some Pro Bowl, all-pro type corner, but he is in the 2nd year. He was drafted in the 5th round, and a player that, frankly, they probably need more of. Good stories in the draft that have come in and have played reasonably well for them. So it makes me think that something else beyond just the football part of it has to have gone down here. Am I crazy? What do we make of the trade that sends Brownley to the Jets and the timing of it?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think their feelings about him beyond what he does on the field have to have factored into this, right? I mean, to take what they got in return for him suggests that they are done with him for whatever reason.
What do you do?
Give
us the reason.
I do think that they shopped and took the best offer they got, which was not very good, to move up around in a draft. So you're moving from the 7th to the 6th in exchange for a guy you spent a 5th on, the Titans.
A guy who has been a starting quality player.
Yes. And who brought you a degree of feistiness that you liked until you didn't like it. I mean, I think he's probably gone overboard on some of that. It's easy to draw lines here and say that they seemingly don't like the way that he's reacted to their reaction to his lack of discipline. Stop with this nonsense that he randomly ended up in a boot and like this whole thing started. It's just that there has to be a conspiracy with everything. I mean, he could simultaneously be hurt,
quad,
and they could be out on him at the same time. Look, it's very difficult for them to be making what maybe feels like a cultural decision at the same time when they've already bottomed out roster-wise, and now you're going further down on your roster and creating further needs. I tweeted this morning, like, they need a top edge, unquestionably. They're going to need a top corner, unquestionably, because Snead's not going to be here at his price next year. They now need a second receiver, outside corner. They need a top receiver, and they're going to need a running back.
Left tackle.
Once again, I don't think they're going to do left tackle. You have to get at least 2 years out of Moore on that contract. But once again, their need list is bigger than you can handle in one off season. And I remember writing this before this draft, like before the 2025 draft. I wrote, this has to be the last draft for which we say the need list is too big for them to handle.
Yeah.
And here we are 4 weeks into the season, and I'm saying the need list is too big for them to handle.
Oh, and by the
How
way,
many years in a row can you say the need list is too big for them to handle?
The need list could grow because you could see some guys get shipped out later on before the deadline.
Yeah,
well, at least there'd be picks
Bedingfield wants them to trade everybody.
But at least you'd have picks coming back in with which you could replace those guys. Are you replacing?
In theory.
You're not getting, unless you really hit a home run, a number 2 quarterback with a 6th round pick. Generally speaking, your odds of that are low. You were fortunate to do it with a 5th round pick. Now, Brownley in the big picture, I know that they view as a slot.
Yeah.
All right. So this to me raises McCreary's stock. So now you can't lose McCreary, because if you lose McCreary as a free agent for nothing, then you add Nickelback to the list. Now I understand they draft Nickelbacks in the second round. They draft Nickelbacks in the second round, but you've got to find a Nickelback in the
Please don't call them Nickelback. It makes me think of terrible music.
In the 5th round, you've got to find your slot corner. Look at my adaptability.
It's a nickel.
You've got to find your slot corner in the 5th round generally, but the Titans do this thing where they draft their slot corners in the 2nd round, and they draft their their change-up running backs in the 3rd round.
Yep.
Hopefully this changes under Borgonzi and they slot these people significantly. But again, they just, in his first draft, they drafted their number 2 edge rusher in the 2nd round.
Well,
their number 2 edge rusher right now who looks like a practice squad player.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I mean, there is promise on the offensive side of the ball in this draft class. But then that second round, the huge need is right there because your 2nd round pick. Well, hey, man, I don't know. Maybe it'll totally blossom.
Yeah,
But doesn't look good right now.
But at best, you're getting 3 out of 4 years
Right.
from him. And he's not going to be your number 1 edge. He'll be your best case scenario for Femi Oladejo is he's a number 2 edge. And he better be your number 2 edge next year because if you need 2 edges out of that draft, well, now they need 15 picks.
Yeah.
And they don't have 15 picks. And if you trade away Simmons and you get 1 for 1, well, then you need a defensive tackle with that pick. So you can't use that pick to get the other edge. Are you getting 2 for 1 for Simmons? I doubt it. You know?
Yeah. It's going well on the Tavondre Sweat front, by the way.
Yeah, great. I told you when he missed the time. I mean, I don't want to be the I told you guy, but when he missed the time in training camp, when guys miss time in training camp, it kills their season oftentimes. And if you're fat, it really does that, I think.
Texter asks, can Restrepo play edge? That might be there we go. We got to get Restrepo in here somehow.
Xavier, get out there on the edge, son.
He's meaty.
Okay, Calvin Ridley.
That speed off the edge?
Save his season. Like, see, Blake wants to trade Calvin now.
Yeah.
I think
Hey, Brian Callahan, how'd you like to go 0-17 before you get fired?
I think you've got to get Calvin back a little bit before anybody's going to,
get the
right
value
now
up.
with his catch percentage over expected being minus 39%.
Not very good.
I think is a hard sell at the cost. I think you got to have them make a couple catches before anybody's going. Also, with these guys, I would say, and in terms of expecting trades now, and I would argue with Blake on this, I don't think you could trade them sooner rather than later because, first off, people still want to see what they've got.
Yep.
And secondly, you inherit less of the contract later. And guys like Calvin and Simmons,
they're going to have to wait.
And Snead, who I don't think anybody's going to want, you inherit less of the contract later. You'll do that later, but you don't want to inherit 14/17 of the contract right now.
I'm going to argue with you real quick. Sorry, Robbie. I think that if he can stay on the field and do something, I think the Eagles might actually be all in on their second corner situation is not good. Dory and others. Yeah, I think it's possible that a contender that's weak could do it.
Let's go. But I mean, we're talking about watching awful football. If we're in on this, I mean, Armour Davis, who knows how long he goes before he gets hurt. And, you know, you still have to give him some grace on transferring in. But you're talking about Armour Davis and Darrell Baker as your starting corners and Marcus Harris. That's your 3-pack of starting corners if you trade L'Jarius Sneed. And I'm not against trading L'Jarius Sneed, but guess what you're not getting back for L'Jarius Sneed? The third you gave up.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and you also.
And it can't be a pick swap. You got to get a clean pick, like a +1.
Well, and it's also, you factor all that in, which I totally agree with. And by the way, their defense looked horrible on Sunday. They looked awful on Sunday against the Colts.
Here's the biggest thing about
that's with those guys.
Here's the biggest thing
about Brian's going to be more with the D now.
What Denard said after this game. And I think safety might be the Titans' single best position. And he said, the safeties are our last line of defense. And if they can't get people to the ground, we're going to get them out of the game and put somebody in who can. So you're talking about replacing Hooker and Woods or Diggs, who are conceivably the best trio of players at any position on the team.
Restrepo?
Yeah. Nothing better than watching a fast guy who can't run forward backpedal.
Maybe he's faster going that way.
Let's get Restrepo in a backpedal situation.
You guys wouldn't believe how quick this guy is backpedaling. It's unbelievable.
We have found something here.
My goodness.
Put him in reverse.
More with Kuharsky coming up next.
I love
I'd
it.
have to ticket that guy. He's going so fast.
66 and a 45. Just put him in a backpedal.
Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts for PK on the Titans at 615-737-1025. I got some tickets to give away. To caller number 8, you'll win a pair of tickets to the Music City Madness as Tennessee takes on Illinois at Bridgestone Arena coming up on Saturday, December the 6th. Caller 8 at 615-737-1025. So PK 0-3 for the Tennessee Titans. We have not talked a whole lot this week about what has gone down on the field.
You know who's desperate for a win in this town?
Who's that?
The media.
Yes. Yes, they are. All of us are. Get a win.
You get to go to traffic school.
I haven't looked at that. What do we think that ticket's
You
worth?
can get
cash-wise?
better. You can improve.
I haven't looked at the cash number on there.
I don't know.
That's going to be damaging.
When you got the kind of jack that you've got, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah,
It's true.
Jack.
It's true.
Yeah, swimming in it.
I thought Cam Ward's footwork was a little all over the place on Sunday, and you could see it in real time out there. And I realized the game was a disaster from the start, and you get a pick six. He's under pressure, as he always is, but I thought the footwork was a little all over the place. I read Blake Bedingfield, and he did not love the footwork either. So what did you make of Cam Ward's game on Sunday against the Colts and where things stand from a fundamental standpoint?
Well, my two biggest concerns, he's holding the ball a long time on those sacks, like 3.5, 3.9, something like that. That's just way too long. And out of holding the ball this long, then they're not getting shots downfield. So the trade-off isn't there. Like, you're not saying, well, he's holding it because a couple other times he held it and they got shots. They're walled off at 20 yards pretty much. And he said this himself. He said last week, needs to get off the first read quicker, has guys open second and third on the backside who are open, who he's not getting to. Now, Blake wrote, and I thought this was really interesting.
He's not going through the progression.
That he's not getting to 2 and 3, that he's going from one to the check
outlet.
And so that's something I'm anxious to look for. I think Cam's been very self-aware. He talks on Wednesdays, and he offered that up last week. He said, I'm not getting to open guys on the backside. Now it could follow that up with, like, are you skipping guys on the backside to get to the check down? And, maybe some of that's forced by the pressure, but the Colts are not a high pressure team compared to what they do. Now we go on the other side.
There were actually stretches, I thought, where the Titans protected him fine in that game.
Yes. Right tackle still an issue. Hance, I thought, did pretty good job for Zeitler. And I was interested in the interior three being a strength. We talked about safety being a strength. I think Skoronski, Cushenberry, Zeitler, now Hance, should be a strength. The edges are questioned. And that right tackle spot is just a tragedy for Cam. When he loops out and goes and does some things, there's great potential there. I feel like he loops out like super wide sometimes.
Or super deep sometimes, too. I'm going to take a 19-step drop.
Right. And while you're taking that 19-step drop, are your guys able to uncover during that? Are you asking like it's too extended? Not from guys should be able to get away from their defenders, but don't you start to get tired at that point? Like, I'm running.
Yeah. Restrepo wouldn't, but yeah.
Well, when Restrepo would just be getting up to full speed.
That might be the key, right? You
lull him to sleep.
Do that for a while, and now Cam's ready to throw.
Yeah.
See?
That's why they're so good together in college.
Yep.
Maybe.
Cam, go back and run around for 5 seconds. Let Restrepo get going and just hit it.
Yeah.
It's like get those like Scooby-Doo,
Yeah.
I got a really good question on the YouTube chat from Allison. Why do the Titans always have to make the game of football look impossible to play? I think that's a good.
It is amazing. Like, I will say, watching Ravens Lions the other night, you're like, is this the same sport?
Yeah.
Different game.
PK, I'll tell you something that I don't think has been discussed around here a lot. It's only 3 games, so the sample size is small, but I'm a little concerned about it, and that's Tony Pollard. He's averaging 3.6 yards a carry, which is a horrific number. 3.6 a carry. For context, last year he was at 4.2. His best year with the Cowboys, he was at 5.2. Now, nobody expects him to be Derrick Henry, but 3.6 yards per carry from Pollard to this point. And I'm not going to say he's looked awful, but I don't think he's looked very explosive. What do you make
He's
of that?
not looked explosive at all. And that's a big concern. I think his long run is 11.
Yeah.
It was a big deal when he broke over 10. And their long run's 27, I think, from Julius Chestnut, who did a very nice job on that run. But you can't be looking to Julius Chestnut as your guy. I mean, he's putting us in a position where we're very eager for Tajay Spears to reemerge and disappoint us. Yeah.
Get excited, Titans Nation.
They need better than Tony Pollard. And again, that's something that you're waiting for next year. And I think Pollard might have a year left, but he's an easy out also. But he can have games where he's going to get you tough yards here and there. But the odds of explosive plays from the running game seem, look, there's a lot between what Derrick Henry did and what Tony Pollard's doing. Nobody's expecting him to be Derrick Henry. And 99-yard runs and that sort of thing are, otherworldly. But you got to break off a 25 here and there that help contribute to things. And you got to be doing enough in the run game to help open up the play action. And I don't, their play action has been pretty good, but they don't do it a lot. I think they feel like they need to do more in the run game to make it viable.
I said do more play action anyway.
I do too.
I agree. In related news,
linebackers bite on play action no matter what.
Yeah. More play action. Thing. In related news, I benched David Montgomery for Tony Pollard this week and lost by a point. So not in our league. I'm killing everybody in our league.
I may be in my swan song year of fantasy football because I first off, I got to cut down on leagues. I'm in 4 leagues, and in my last 8 games, 0-8.
That's a tough one.
That is tough.
And CD Lamb is down.
Here's a question from Dustin from Hopkinsville that I think is a good thing to consider. He said, some people are saying, keep Callahan because otherwise you're going to derail Cam's progress. But here we are talking about his footwork, holding the ball, et cetera, et cetera. Send the man packing by his plane ticket, et cetera, et cetera. You can't get out of the building fast enough. But I do I think that brings up the overall question. Again, if the entire thing here, PK, is it's about Cam, he's the most important person. It's all about him. What is this change going to do? You already talked a little bit about Hardegree and he'll still deal with him, but even Cam, I'm interested to hear from Cam, as I'm sure you are. What does he say about Brian Callahan? He's already unprompted given his support to him, right?
Yes.
But does this have the opportunity or the potential to slow the progress, to jack things up?
Maybe, but if you find the right guy next year, I've written, I'm a fan of stability. I think they need to find stable, but if it's really not working to a terrible degree with this guy, then you got to go find the next guy and be stable with him.
Well, I'm not even talking about, I think we all agree that's happening, but I'm saying even for the rest of this year, right? Like, how do you maximize that priority?
Well, I mean, Callahan not calling plays. Robby talked about, maybe it takes away a little Hardegree working with Cam. Maybe that means a little more Callahan working with Cam. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I mean, I know what the general public answer is going to be, but it could help serve Ward in some ways. They're preaching the same things. So it's a matter of the delivery and the messaging and getting through to him and stuff. Look, I think there are a lot of encouraging things about Ward, but I don't think it's unreasonable to expect him to be a little bit better. Now, the help is insufficient. Ridley being a disaster is killing them. The pass protection at times is killing them, but he's doing things to hurt himself that we've talked about. He's holding the ball too long. He's not necessarily hitting the progressions correctly.
He misses still some throws that you got to have that one.
Yeah, and he's passing up some short stuff that could keep them moving. That for more difficult stuff, he's a hunter. Maybe they need to get him to the right levels of hunting. He's not at the right levels of that. But you see it in him. I mean, he clearly has the potential to be a good NFL quarterback. I think right now it's reasonable to say, number one, don't screw him up, and don't get him under so much fire that he becomes in some ways gun shy. There are no hints of that yet. It's only 3 games in, but also Don't let him make himself gun shy. You can't hold the ball for 3.5 or 3.9, get yourself hit where you're going to contribute to your own thing where, oh, I'm getting hit a lot. Like, let that be the offensive line's fault or the protection's fault, not your fault.
Yep. 615-737-1025, our phone number. One more segment with PK coming up next. Keep your Titans questions coming. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in. Final segment of the day. Robby and Rexrode. Paul Kuharsky with us here on the program from paulkuharsky.com. Let's head to our 1025 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Kevin in Nashville to the program. Kevin, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Guys. Good morning, guys. How you all doing?
Doing good. Good.
Hey, I have a quick question for PK, and you all can chime in as well. I was looking at the Titan schedule. I was looking at the Titan schedule, and if they go
up to Seattle and lose, that'll put them at like 0-13, 0-11, something there. Can you see Amy just firing everybody and cleaning the house and starting all over again, even though it's Borgonzi's first year? I'll listen and hang up. You guys have a good day.
Thank you, Kevin.
Fire everybody.
Borgonzi's not getting fired.
I don't think
after
Borgonzi's
this.
getting fired.
No chance.
How about Brinker?
I doubt it severely, but I mean, I think Brinker's in very strongly with Amy Adams strong. And he hired Borgonzi. And if they're liking Borgonzi and Borgonzi's draft looks pretty solid, I think
that's Borgonzi's draft or Brinker's draft.
I think it's Borgonzi's draft.
Okay.
I hate that. I wish you'd burn that.
Could
you show me
Play it more.
Can you show me where it is and then go to the bathroom?
Sure. I mean, I don't know.
PK's going to operate the computer.
PK wants to commit many crimes today.
That clerk scene from that Berserker, it's hilarious. So I don't really know what you're talking about.
Thank you, Ian.
Tell
him, Ian.
The scene could be hilarious, and that line could be hilarious. Just
because you don't remember it,
playing it
you got to go back and rewatch it.
And
it's funny.
The thing at the behest of Joe is the annoying part.
Just because you want to be Mr. Magoo doesn't mean the rest of us can't have fun.
Mr. Magoo. Mr. Magoo is known for wearing big windshield size glasses.
And when
I'm
I
wearing
go back and
contact
listen
lenses and reading glasses.
to the clip and
You're
cut
so
it,
cool.
I laugh every time. Still, I go back and
I'm with
re-listen.
you,
I'm like,
Ian.
oh, this is
Remember when
hilarious.
100% with you. You
like
tell
3
him.
weeks ago, I gave you a big compliment.
He did.
Yeah,
Oh,
I retract.
He's
I retract the whole thing.
The compliment, it's gone. It's all gone at this point. I mean, look, 0-11. I guess you could put everything on the table then.
I mean,
but
why
they're not.
0-11? Look, let's not. This road trip, it sucks that they're on the road 3 games in a row. Texans, beatable. Cardinals, beatable. Raiders, beatable. I mean, they're not great teams.
No.
Titans, I mean, I'm not picking the Titans to win any of the games, but let's not make it like they're going to play the the Ravens and the Bills and the
No, I'm with you.
Whoever.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But they could lose.
I think
Oh, yeah. They could very well lose all 3, but they're not going to lose to all 3 because they're going on the road to play great teams.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you there. So I tell you, we're going to be paying extra close attention to some in-game decisions this week, aren't we? By the time, he's not calling plays. Callahan's not calling plays. There better not be any screw-ups on the in-game operation this week.
You know what he needs? You know what he needs? I know I bring this up at my own peril because someone will get mad, but he needs one of those like Vrabel moments where he's like, oh my gosh, he found a loophole in the rules.
Yeah.
And the other coach is furious. Can he do something like that?
I don't think so.
It's possible. He needs like a plus moment of game management / operation.
It's just
good call, Brian. Way to go.
unbelievable what he figured out there.
Or get over there and yell at the punt team and come on, guys.
Oh my God, they came out of the timeout and the offense was lined up and they went for it.
The K-ball was ready.
I think it's like, hey, how's the study on what qualifies as a catch going? You got that down? The elbow?
That's what they really need.
Elbow good or no?
They need Io Manor.
Swear on that?
They need Io Manor to make a catch on the sideline this week and to be ruled out of bounds. And Callahan just to sprint down the sideline with the red flag in his hand and be like, I'm throwing the flag, baby.
And then signal, put his body part down on the line.
Elbow.
In.
You guys, I don't know if you knew, but the elbow equals 2 feet.
Yep.
Thanks. Just wanted in case you needed to know.
What we do here is we learn and we improve.
Yep. You know what would also be nice to see at some point this week, that I know that if there's ever a matchup where we should see it, it's probably this one, but I have no faith in it. The edge rush group for the Titans, it would be nice to know that they're playing. It'd be nice to come away with them playing actual football.
They touched Daniel Jones twice.
Yeah.
So Denard was asked yesterday, how's that big edge thing working out?
Draymond Jones really
said
distinguished himself.
He said something like, we still need some time to kind of see. Yeah.
See if we can get some different
that's
players.
The most polite answer you could give. I mean, the whole big edge thing was, well, at least we're going to stop the run and get ourselves into rush situation. Well, yeah, they're stopping the run. All right.
They're in position to make tackles a fair amount of the time. Speaking of edges, by the way, though, that is, of course, the clear and far and away at this point strength of the Houston Texans. So is
Yeah.
J.C. Latham going to play football?
Their
at any
pressure
point
percentage
soon?
is actually less than the Titans, which is remarkable.
Yeah.
But they have two legitimate guys. And we
that's
know what
that's
that
a good
means.
example of the numbers and their limitations.
And we know what that
at
means.
times.
Yeah. By the way,
Uh,
the Titans are 29th in the league in rush defense right now.
Not a Dan Moore game. Like Dan Moore games are games like a Quiddy Pay
Oh, yeah.
game is a Dan Moore game, but a Hunter/Anderson game, that's not a Dan Moore game.
What about Latham? Is Latham just going to be?
He
is this a
kinda
problem?
made it
Is he
like-
going to join Sweat on IR at some point?
Kind of
here?
made it like maybe there's a chance, but he didn't give up much on Monday / surprise talk Tuesday. So
And guys, I just
don't
want to talk
know.
about J.C. Latham today.
Yeah, I came in. I just wanted to offer some news on JC.
I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I just want you to know.
Don't know. And I fear it's a nagging thing. People get carried away about the, oh my God, they should put him on IR. Like, what does it matter where he's inactive? Until you have 7 guys that are holding you back in terms of game day scratches. Doesn't matter. You can have a guy not play for 6 weeks, and it doesn't matter that he's not on IR. Like, they think that's some kind of roster mismanagement. It does not matter a lick.
PK, thank you for powering through today and being with us.
Yeah, I'll take donations for my ticket payment next week. I'll be in with that price. Don't block the box, which I didn't do.
Watch
and
your
be
speed.
sure to lock your locks.
And get away from the cops.
I love the police. They serve us well.
That does it for us today. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.